Hi and welcome to Knitting Blooms. Today is Friday, June 22nd, and this is episode number 60. My name is Tina, also known as Bloomingknitter. I always forget to say that. It's been another weird week. I did get my knitting mojo back, but I'll get to that. I want to start with apologies. I kind of haven't been on my computer this week. Mickey's over here on the pole. I think you can just barely see him in the camera. You want to sit up here with me? Anyway, so I want to apologize for not answering PMs, for not responding to posts in the group. I am really far behind now. I have felt like knitting this week, so I haven't really felt like being on the computer. I didn't play any Sims. I did watch some podcasts at work on my work computer, but not on my home computer, so even emails. One day this week I finally turned on my computer just to go through emails, and I think I had 180 some emails, most of which was junk and I could just delete it, but it was a lot of email. So I want to apologize about that. Also, if you have won a prize recently and you haven't received your prize, I think I've gotten back to everybody who has contacted me, but just in case, let me know, because like I said, 2 weeks ago was an epic funk week, and this week has been, I haven't been in a funk this week, but I just have, it's been weird. Anyway, that said, I do want to thank everybody who did take the time to get in contact with me this week. I will make a special point to get back in touch with everybody this week who has gotten in contact this past week. But thank you for taking the time to get in contact with me. Before I start in on everything, I wanted to let you guys know I got a special surprise from Barmaids. I've been talking about recently needing to place an order. Well, I had not placed it and hadn't placed it, and I've been out of face putting for a while. I've been using up some of my other moisturizer that I have. And last weekend, I think it was on Sunday, I pulled out my next Lolo bar. I had bought 4 Lolo bars the last time I placed an order, or 5, something like that. And I just kind of stashed them away in the cabinet, and as I needed them, I would pull them out. Well, I pulled out the next one, and I took off you open the can up and there's a little paper on top and you take that paper out. Well, then I dumped the Lolo bar in my hand and there was another paper on the bottom. And I almost just tossed it in the trash, and then I saw the big letters, congratulations, and I'm like, what's this? And I won an everything pack. I guess they randomly put these little coupons in the Lolo bars. So that was quite a little surprise. I still have not placed my order. I went to the shop last Sunday and I put a bunch of stuff in my cart, and I haven't actually clicked the purchase button. But I won an everything pack, which includes the face pudding and a Lolo bar, as well as the O for Feet's Sake, and it also includes Lolo lips. So I will get all of that stuff, and I am going to place an order for a couple more Lolo bars, and I also think I'm going to try the scrub. I think it's a sugar scrub. So hopefully I'll get my act together and get that ordered, because like I said, I haven't been on the computer. I was on the computer on Sunday to do that, and then pretty much haven't really been on the computer a significant amount of time since then. So that was quite fun. I did, when I went through my emails on Wednesday, yeah, I think it was Wednesday, I saw an email for Craftsy, and they have online video classes and whatnot, and they were on sale for $20 a piece. So I went and checked out the new classes, and I ended up signing up for one. I think I've signed up for 3 other ones that I still haven't taken, but how can you pass up 20 bucks? So I signed up for one, and then I went back and I signed up for another one, and then I was going through the rest of my emails, and there was an email from Interweave Knits to get a free class from Craftsy. It was for short row heels, and it was a good thing that I didn't purchase that one, because then I was able to go and get it for free. So it's a good lesson to read your emails. I had a lot of emails, and I'm surprised I didn't just click it, because usually even stuff like that, if I've got so many emails, I look at the from, and if I know what it is, or general, if it's just a general advertisement, I'll just go ahead and delete it. But I actually stopped and looked at the email and got a free class. So now I have 6 classes to take from Craftsy. That's going to take some time, because I think the classes, I mean, most of the classes are like 3 and 4 hours of video time, not including any time that you spend doing a project. Anyway, so that's been my week. So let's talk about, let's start with Charity June. I think there are like 47 or 48 posts, and I've been trying to keep up looking at everybody's. I have knit one preemie cap, which I'm not going to show you today because I didn't bring it over here. But that's all I've done for charity this month. I really wanted to do more, but with the funk and then trying to get back on track, it just didn't happen. I'll probably just continue to do my own little thing with preemie hats and other hats in the coming months. But I did want to mention that I will be drawing for the prizes probably on Thursday, because I probably will record on Thursday. Here's the thing. If you've been watching the show for a while, you know that earlier this year, and actually last year, late last year, my grandmother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Well, she did pass away peacefully, surrounded by family, yesterday. And the services are going to be next weekend. So my plan is to head to the DC area on Friday, and so I'm thinking I might record Thursday. I'm going to see how it goes. It just depends on I guess my mood. Because it's been pretty somber since yesterday evening. My father, whose mother it was, he was able to see her last weekend, and they knew that it had to be soon, because she had decided that she just didn't want to eat anymore. She was having a lot of nausea and pain and what have you. At that point, when he was there, they had not started morphine at that point. She was just on like Advil and Tylenol and stuff for pain. But I believe that on Sunday is when they started the morphine. And she totally refused to have a feeding tube and whatnot. And because she wasn't eating, we knew that it was just a matter of time. So I guess that's kind of another reason why I've been in a weird place this week, because we knew it was coming. We've just all been preparing for it. So next week is going to be a crazy week for me because I'll be traveling and I don't know what the plan is. I mean, I know the plan for the services and stuff, but I'm sure that there's going to be other family get-togethers because it's just sad that sometimes it takes a death in the family for families to get together, but really I haven't seen my family as a whole for a number of years. I haven't been to the reunion for at least 5 years. So it'll be good to see everybody, but it's sad that it has to take a death in the family to bring everybody together. Anyway, so I will be drawing for the Charity June on Thursday. So previously I had said you have until Friday to post. Now I would definitely get it posted before, say, 5 o'clock on Thursday. I'm going to try and post, or try and get recorded and then post before the end of the evening, but if I can't get that done, I'll just take the stuff with me and post it from my mom's house. So again, there will be 3 prizes for the Charity June, so get your projects posted to the thread. You can post any and all things that you knit for charity this month. So let's move on to some more joyous news. The featured crafter for the past couple weeks has been Feed Your Inner Child, which is her Etsy shop is Charlie Carter. And she has these adorable stitch markers. I showed you a few of the ones that I had purchased last week, the peanut butter and jelly, and also the cupcakes. This is the set that is for the drawing, and she does all sorts of different things. I haven't checked out her shop since I placed my order last week, or actually it was the week before. But there they all go. But I don't know if she's got some new things in there or not. Like I said, I haven't spent hardly any time on the computer this week. But the winner of those stitch markers is number 50, Miss Lily Knits, and that would be Rachel. So congratulations, Rachel. Get in contact with me and provide your last name as well as your mailing address, and I will get those in the mail to you. If you can get your information to me, I will definitely try and get them shipped before I go out of town. So the next, and I should have pulled this up, the next featured crafter, or in this case it's a featured dyer, is Hambly. Let me see if I can get over to Etsy really quick so I can pull it up. Just before I started to record, Steve told me that Wow, who is our cable internet provider, hang on, I just got to get signed into Etsy, is now offering us a bump in our speed on internet, so for no additional charge, which is awesome. So we'll see if we get faster connection. He actually unplugged everything. So the featured crafter, in this case it is a dyer, is Hambly, and she is in the UK, but she has very reasonable prices and shipping to the US. But for those of you who are in the UK, you even get better shipping. So here are just a few of the items that are currently in her shop. She does have some stitch markers, which these appear to be clay, some of them, and some of them are beads. And she has fiber and yarn, and I forgot to bring these over, but one of the prizes that will be for the drawing is something very similar to this. They are a set of stitch markers. The other prize, which will be this. It's a skein of yarn. Again, it's Hambly. I think that's how you pronounce it. And she does yarn and fiber. And here are some of the things that I've purchased from her. This skein of sock yarn and this bump of fiber. And I had planned on starting some fiber, some of her fiber to spin during the her reign as featured crafter, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. Just because things are going to be crazy over the next few weeks. But this will be a prize, and so I will be setting up a thread on the group for you to enter to win. Now, like I said, she is in the UK. Her prices are listed in her shop as US. They're very comparable to other things in the US. And like I said, shipping is not that expensive. Let me just jump over to a page. To be shipped to the US, it's $6.60. So that's not that bad. I mean, I think I pay sometimes close to that for some other things that are shipped. So very reasonably priced, and the fact that some of her yarns and fibers are even cheaper than some of the vendors in the US, it kind of offsets one another. So very cool there. And she is going to have an update. I did contact her earlier this week, and she is doing a show this weekend. However, she's going to have an update on Monday. So if you don't see anything in her shop that strikes your fancy right now, check back again on Monday. I see some bats here and what have you. I'm not sure if I'm ready to do a bat again. I'm still kind of trying to decide if I'm going to spin that other Uniquely Yours bat with the purple and green and the sparkly. I think I might try and spin it on the e-spinner at the office, because I wasn't feeling it on the drop spindle, and spinning it at home I think is not the best idea. So that's our featured crafter for the next couple of weeks, and again, I will be posting a thread in the group for you to enter for that skein of yarn. Before I get into my projects, I just want to, since I'm trying to stay in order on my show notes, because I know if I skip around, something's going to get missed. But I have been watching a few podcasts this week, and I want to thank everybody who watches this podcast, because I actually went down my list of podcasts that are listed on the blog. I have 75 on my blog, and there are way more than that. Those are just the ones that I have found. But thank you for watching this podcast, because there are a ton out there, and for you to take the time and watch this particular podcast, I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that you have decided to watch this podcast, so thank you for doing that. I do try and watch all the podcasts, but there's just not, I mean, I figured out, okay, so there's 75, and at an average of 45 minutes a podcast, that's like 56 hours a week of podcasts. I do not watch that much TV. I just don't. Yeah, so if you're watching all of those podcasts, wow. That's a lot of podcasts. So if you actually watching this podcast, I really appreciate that you have chosen my podcast as one of the few or the many that you watch. But I did watch the second episode of Sittin' and Knittin', and that is hosted by Diana, and her Ravelry name is His Handmaid. His Handmaid. And I really enjoyed her show. She does her own little, her sections, and then her two daughters also knit, and they have their own little section. And then what I liked most about her show, and I don't know if she did it for the first show because I never ended up going back and watching the second half. I watched the first half of the first show, and then it was time for me to go home from work, and I just never picked it back up again. And then before I knew it, she had another episode posted, and I thought, you know what? I can't keep up on everything, so I'm just going to forget the second half of the first show and watch the second show. But at the end of the second show, after her daughters had their segments, she had like a little knitting circle, where the first part is kind of like what I do here, where she shares her projects and what have you. But then after the girls had their little segments, she was sitting there and knitting. It was like a little knitting circle, and she's just chatting to you, and I just thought that was so cute. It's something that I might incorporate at some point, but I really like that. I felt like we were just sitting and chatting, and we were knitting. So go and check out her show if you haven't already. Again, that's Sittin' and Knittin', and I'll put a link in the show notes. So, that's the new podcast of the week. I don't think I watched any other new ones this week. Anyway, on with the show. We're going to start with finished objects. And we'll start with the one that's been finished the longest, that I finally got blocked, which is the Pamua shawl. Here it is. I'm not wearing it because it is flippin' hot here. It's like, actually, it's not as hot as it has been, but it's like 84 degrees right now. And we don't have AC yet, but that's another thing that's going to be crazy the next couple weeks, because we are getting central air conditioning. We have a boiler now. We are going to get a new furnace and AC, but it's going to require a whole new duct system in our already existing house. That's going to be a mess. It means all of the drop ceiling here in the basement has to come down. And I don't know what else it means. We're going to find out the specifics on Wednesday. They came out, they gave us an estimate. We decided what company we were going to go with. We interviewed 3 different companies. And we decided what company we were going to go with. They have to come back out and measure everything and work out the layout of the plan as to where vents and ductwork is going to go. And hopefully by the middle of July, we'll have a whole new heating and cooling system in our house. And we'll be able to turn the AC on, which will be awesome. Right now we have window units, which work in a pinch, but there's no window unit down in the basement, so it's quite warm down here. Anyway, so that's another thing that we're dealing with. On top of the fact that we still have not put the drywall up upstairs, which I'm hoping gets done this weekend, which is another reason why I'm recording today, because I would like to have all day tomorrow to just work on that. I'm hoping that I can talk my husband into it, because the problem is that he procrastinates, and I'm like, okay, he can procrastinate, I can knit. We just need to get it done. Anyway, back to Pamua. here it is. I can't even show you all of it. It is quite wide. It blocked out beautifully. It is further than my wingspan. And it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. The patterning is gorgeous. I love the texture. It's just, I think textured shawls are my absolute favorite. I like the different stitches, the different stitch patterns. It's just yummy. And it works with variegated or semi-solid. It's just beautiful. So that is finally blocked. It took forever, but I finally cleaned off the bed in the spare room, which we had been using for a while we were getting the insulation. But then we're still using that room for our clothes and stuff like that. But we're not sleeping in there because we have a Tempur-Pedic bed, and I could not sleep on the spare bed any longer because it is not a Tempur-Pedic bed, and I was having major back and neck pain by sleeping on that other bed. And so that's the first finished object. The second finished object is the seashells shawl that I did for my mom. And here it is. And you will see that I blocked it out in a nice half circle because she did not want the points. I've seen it blocked with points. I've seen it blocked without points. And I'm going to try and show you. I did put beads on there. I'm hoping that you can see them. Right there. And right there. I'm trying to look at the camera, but I can't see through. Anyway, it turned out really nice, and I'm really glad that I made it a little bit longer than she had wanted, because now that I think about it, if I had made it the length that she wanted, it would have been shorter across the top as well. So I hope she likes it. She's going to get it a little sooner than I expected because I will be seeing her next weekend. But there it is. It really blocked out nicely. I am still planning on making her a pair of socks to match. I have plenty of yarn left over. I have to pull out the skeins. One of the skeins that I have, the yarn is a little bit thinner than the rest of them. They're all 3-ply, but all spinners will know that as you work through a fiber, as you work through, the longer you work on it, the more, I guess you could say, maybe bored you might get with it, which means that sometimes you will go a little thicker. I tried not to do that, but I'm sure that there was times that I did, and I know that there was times that I was spinning really thin, thinner than I really intended. But this turned out beautifully, beautifully. The only modification that I would make if I knit this again, I really like the beads on it. And I think I would really like to put, okay, so here's a bead, okay, and I don't know if you're even able to see it at all, but I think if I did it again, I would do a bead at each one of these, because it's like a knit 3 together, and I think I would do a bead either on the off, probably on the off rows, not the rows that had the three knit 3 together, but maybe between the seashells, like, you know, between here, like that, because I just think that it would just add a little bit something more to the shawl. And I did put the red beads on it because I didn't want them to be too flashy, but I just wanted a little bit of bling. But I think that it would have looked really cool to have the whole bottom lace section beaded. And I have not woven in the ends, but that doesn't take hardly any time at all. So there you go. That is the seashells shawl. Seashells shawl. So that will be going to my mom next weekend when I go to town for my grandmother's services. Those are the finished objects. So I got motivated in the fact that I got the seashells shawl finished and blocked, and the Pamua shawl blocked, because that was awesome. The next project that I'm going to show you, first let me tell you the projects that I'm not going to show you. Last week I showed you the Just Ducky socks, all stockinette. I did work on them this week. I worked a little bit of the leg on the one sock. I worked up to the heel on the second sock. I will probably be working on the heel on the second sock this week, and hopefully start working up the leg. I'm enjoying working with that yarn. Again, it's Knit Picks Bear, which I love. But nothing other than that to tell you. I'll show them to you next week, maybe. Fornicating Reindeer, didn't work on it at all. Didn't work on it at all. I do need to get that done. I mean, really, if I put it on the needles, I mean, because right now I work to the outside or the inside, as the case may be. I just have to work the second part of the hat. Literally, it probably would take me 8 hours of knitting time to do it. I just have to get it started. But I've been trying to work on the other projects this week. Effervesce, I did start my second sock. A couple weeks ago when I showed you my project, I was almost done with the chart on the leg, and I said that if I don't get the second sock started, I will have a second sock syndrome for this project, and it will never get done. So I haven't worked on the first sock anymore, and I have worked up, I got the toe, and I think, I want to say about 25 rows or so of the foot pattern charting done. It's going. I mean, it because it's not that much cabling right now. It's going quickly, but again, with the size 0 needles that I'm using, it is a little hard on my hands. I'm using my wool Miza, and it's a little hard on my hands, so I can't do too many rows at one time. Inish Bag, which is my sweater for Rhinebeck, I did finish the second sleeve today. It was the first time I worked on the project this week, but it looks like a sleeve. You've seen the first sleeve, so I'm not going to show you that. I hope to start the body this week, but it's a project that I probably will mostly work on at work, at least until I get AC, because it is a heavy wool. It's an Aran weight wool, and it's not exactly conducive to work on in a place that has no air conditioning. Although, like I said, we have the window units, but that doesn't always provide enough coolness. So those are the projects that I'm not going to show you. So let me show you the project that I will show you. We'll start with the Through the Loops Mystery knit along. Again, I'm using the Creatively Dyed yarn in the base Sammy Queen base and the colorway Society. The fourth clue came out on Wednesday. Pretty sure it was Wednesday. I haven't started the fourth clue because I wanted to be able to show you today. I did finish clue number 2, which I was almost finished with last week, and I finished clue number 3. So here it is. There it is. There's clue number, let me hold it this way a little bit more. There's clue number 3. Okay, this was clue number 2, and that's where you see my stitch marker there. My Dicky Do, that's clue number 2, and then where the stitch marker is, that's where I was last week. I finished that clue, and then I also did clue number 3. So it's very cool. Like I said, I didn't want to start clue number 4 because I wanted to be able to show you. And at least by having a whole week ahead of time, or a whole week before the clue is shown, hopefully many people have already seen the spoilers, or they've already done their shawl. So that is coming right along. Clue number 4 is also 40 rows. It seems like the third and the fourth clue were both, the second and the third clue were both 40 rows. And the fourth clue is also 40 rows. And then there's a 5th clue that comes out next week. It says, I think they're coming out early. I looked at it today just to see, because I thought it was coming out early, but now I can't remember. Anyway, I'm really enjoying it. I really like this yarn. I really like the colorway. I'm enjoying the pattern. You will see that I do have my Begin stitch markers in here, which I don't typically use stitch markers typically, but the pattern recommended that you put stitch markers in after a certain point, and I did, and it's been making the repeats easier to follow, I guess. I don't have to think as much, and I don't have to read it. I mean, I still read my knitting, but it is being a little helpful. So I have kept the stitch markers in there, and I probably will continue with them in. I'm using my size 6 signatures, and that's a 4.0 millimeter. So it's coming along. I will start clue number 4, and hopefully have that for you to show you next week. But we'll see, because again, I don't know how much knitting I'm going to get done. The boss has been on vacation for the last 2 days, so I have got quite a bit of knitting done the last couple of days, and he will be gone Monday and Tuesday as well. So I could get a bit of knitting done at work next week. However, Thursday and Friday are probably going to be, or Wednesday and Thursday are going to be busy at work. And then if I go, when I leave to go out of town, and if I record a couple days early, it's going to be a little crazy. But, and so, the next project, that was the Through the Loops mystery shawl. The next project, I started my Color Affection shawl, and I am really enjoying it so far. I started it on Wednesday. It's Friday. I started it on Wednesday night. That's how much I've gotten done. I am using the Knit Picks Glimmer, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick up the sparkly on the camera. But I am using the Knit Picks Glimmer. And I'm using the gray, the pink, and then also I will be putting black in the mix as well. That will be the final color. I have been watching podcasts, but I don't always get the details. You know, when people were talking about the Color Affection shawl, I wasn't sure if I was going to knit it, and then now I'm knitting it, and I forget what other people had done. But I did go through and read some of the comments on the finished projects, and I changed the way I do my increase. In the pattern, I think the increase is called for as just a make one, but I'm doing a yarn over for the make one, and then when I come back, I'm knitting the yarn over through the back loop. So it's closing it up, and it seems to be allowing for a little bit stretchier of an edge. I mean, it's still going to be a tight edge, but it is allowing for a little bit stretchier of an edge. The second thing is, I heard Diane from the Knittables podcast, about doing a knit one, yarn over, knit one on the edge to add additional give. And I kept thinking, why are we doing that? Well, I figured it out once I got to the color work, because when I was doing the main color, I didn't need it as much because I was getting quite a decent amount of give with the one color. But then when you get to the color work, you need a little bit more give because you're carrying the yarn along the edge. Now, I have a tendency when I'm carrying the yarn along the edge to add a little bit extra give anyway. So the first couple rows, or first couple ones when I did the yarn over, I have quite a bit of extra yarn there. So I didn't really like that. But as I figured everything out, I pulled tighter on the yarn and then still did the yarn over, and so that seems to be working so far. We'll see if I change it up again as I continue to work through it. But I still seem to be getting a pretty good give. I hear about people blocking the shawl. Because it's garter stitch, I would suspect that blocking isn't 100% necessary. Just because garter stitch tends to lie flat to begin with. And I'm not sure why mine, I don't know if everybody else's does this, but mine sort of has like a little bit of a hump. Here's where I cast on, and instead of going straight across in this section, if I pull it out, you'll see where it kind of humps over. I don't know why that does that. I mean, I have the stretch, so maybe maybe that's what I need to block out, but it seems like it's got a little bit of a hump here. Not that it really matters once I get the thing done, but I don't know. So there it is. I haven't got too many rows. The stitch marker was just for when I was counting rows to remember where I had to do my increases. Obviously, I did not have this started last week, so it's not how much I've done this week. But I'm enjoying it. It's going fairly quickly, and more than likely I will knit another one of these at some point. And again, this is the Knit Picks Glimmer, Stroll Glimmer, and I really do like Knit Picks Stroll. So that's the color Affection, which is kind of mindless, but again, when I was started the striping, I got a little brain fart, and took me a minute to figure out where I was going, because I was doing those yarn overs, and then I was adding the extra yarn overs, and then I couldn't remember, was I supposed to do an extra yarn over, an extra increase on this row? It took me a couple minutes to get that situated, but I did, and now I think I'm on a roll. The next project, which I'm going to show you because it's not very far along, and I have some changes to make, is the Windy Knits Summer Solstice Knit Along, and I'm using Woolmiza, and I think it's the Turquoise Marquee. I can't remember what color it is. Uh-oh. Hang on, the battery is about to die. Just a minute, please. Okay, sorry about that. Usually I start getting set up for the podcast, and I plug the camera in just to charge the battery, because I haven't used the camera since the week before, and I let it charge up completely. But I asked Steve to come down and help me do some finagling with the camera, because I always feel like I'm not level. Come to find out, it's the floor that's not level, so I can't do anything about that. But it drives me crazy every time I'm editing and I see the podcast and it's not level. So anyway, I didn't get to charge the camera as long as I wanted to, because I didn't want to make him wait. So now I'm plugged in, and which is what I should have done in the first place, but I thought I would have enough battery. Anyway, here is my yarn. It is the, like I said, it's the Turkish Marquee or something. It'll be in my notes or my project page. And this is the Wendy Knits Summer Solstice knit along. And I'm going to show you because really I haven't gotten much progress of it at all. And I don't know. Okay, I guess. Okay, I thought I was going to have to rip this whole thing out, but I guess it's fine. I just had the stuff all wrapped up around it. Alright, so here's the situation. I'm on the first row of the pattern. And I am planning on using some beads. Here are the beads that I'm using. So you can see them side by side. I'm using a blue bead. It's kind of a crystally. It's just probably just going to be a little bit of a glitz on it. And I've been using a crochet hook. This really teeny tiny number 10 crochet hook. Well, I was really struggling with it. And I thought, you know what? I've seen those tutorials on doing the beads with dental floss or something like that. So this morning on my way to work, I thought I'm going to stop at the drugstore and pick up what I need to do the beads, having not watched the tutorial before I went. Well, I got there and I couldn't remember exactly what I was supposed to get. So I got some kind of, I got regular dental floss, which I thought I would be able to use, but no. And then I got some other kind of little, I don't even have it with me, but it's like a little loop, and that almost worked, but it didn't work really. So I was struggling with the beads. I think, let's see how many repeats I've got. Not that many repeats. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 repeats done yesterday, until I said that's enough, I have to get this dental floss stuff. Well, I got the wrong stuff and I still was struggling with it, and I thought, well, maybe I should just do the nups instead. And then I thought, well, let me give it another try. Let me get the right stuff. The right stuff that I was supposed to get, which I didn't get the first time, and I stopped at the drugstore again on my way home, was the Super Floss. This is what I was supposed to originally get. And I'm going to try the beads again with this sometime this weekend and see how it goes. But I think the problem is more that the hole in the bead is having a hard time going over 2 thicknesses of Wollmeise. And I believe this is the twin, so it's a little bit thicker versus just issues. So I'm going to try it with the Super Floss and see if I can get it to work. If I can't get it to work, I am not going to struggle with it. I've spent so much time on 4 repeats, and there are 2 beads in each repeat right now, and there's 3 rows of beads. At this point, I'm ready to scrap the whole project, but because there's other options like the nups, which I'm not real excited about, but I think I have to do the nups versus nothing if I can't get the beads to work, but I really would rather get the beads to work. So we'll see how it goes. The beads just might not be conducive for this project, for this yarn, just because they might have too small of a hole. We'll see how it goes. I thought that they would be okay, but maybe the Wollmeise is just a little bit too thick. So that's where I am. Barely any progress on it, so you can't really even see what it looks like. You just know that there's beads or nups in it, but I'm pretty sure you knew that just by reading the thread. Anyway, so I wasn't planning on showing this because I wanted to have a week, because I think the pattern just came out yesterday. But anyway, and I am using some stitch markers between each repeat, just because it was working on the other shawl. I thought I would try it on this one too. So not a whole lot of progress on that, but hopefully now that I have the super floss, I can get that to work out properly. Okay, let's talk about spinning. I also, in addition to blocking the two shawls, I actually got the fiber off my bobbins and washed and thwacked them. We'll start with the Franklin. This is the Gnome Acres in the colorway the Knittables Franklin. And I Navajo plied this, and it's still got pretty tight of a ply on it, because I think I mentioned last week that I was having some issues trying to ply it, but it is what it is. I think I got around 160 some yards. I think one of these I got 160 and one of them I got 168. This is the Spin Monkeys, and again I also Navajo plied this. This isn't quite as over plied, but again I struggled with this one for other reasons, because I think this is the one that I plied on the Sidekick, and there was a couple of times when trying to get the wheel going. It's just, I think it's just the matter of practicing the Navajo ply more. Both of these fibers were really fun to knit. I mentioned that the Spin Monkeys had a little bit of felted bits in it. Now, Tara contacted me afterwards, and she's one of the people that I haven't gotten back to. But she said that a lot of times it's the mixed BFL that causes those bits. But I also think that it's my hands, because my hands do get quite hot. I really liked how it came out in the end. I'm pretty particular about when I'm spinning, and if I get a little extra chunk, I just pick it out. But I really do like the fiber, how it turned out in the end, and I have no idea what I'm going to make with it yet, but I like it. And this is the Knittables Franklin, and I do like how it came out. I think last week I mentioned that I was a little disappointed that the colors weren't more vibrant, but it had a lot to do with the fact that she dyes the fiber in the braid, so the colors aren't as saturated as they look. They don't spin up as saturated as they would, as they looked in the braid. But I like it. I like how it turned out. It's not as vibrant and brilliant as I would have liked, but overall, I do like the fiber. It was the Polworth silk, and I really enjoyed spinning it. Now, both of these are about 160 yards. Both of them, this one I spun in 2 days. This one I spun in about a week. And as much as I like getting this much spinning done, I have no clue what I'm going to do with this. 160 yards? What can you do with 160 yards of a worsted? I could make a hat, maybe, but I don't really wear hats. I don't even wear a winter coat. Steve's always complaining because I wear my little windbreaker in the winter, because I don't like to be constricted. So when I'm going somewhere, I don't like a heavy coat. You know, usually I'm going from the house, which is warm, to the car, which can get warm, to another building that's warm. I'm not outside for any extended period of time. And when I am inside, I want to be comfortable. And if we're going shopping or something like that, then I'm going to have to carry a coat. I don't like to carry a heavy coat, so I wear a windbreaker. So he's always picking on me. So I don't wear hats. I do wear scarves, so I guess I could try and knit a scarf, but is really 160 yards enough to knit a scarf? I could knit a cowl, but I don't really wear cowls, but if I wore them like a scarf, then I guess I would wear them. I don't know. Even though spinning thinner takes a lot longer, I have a feeling that that's where I'm going to live, because I really enjoy the thinner yarn. And I can make socks, I can make shawls, I can do so much more with it. So, I don't know how much spinning worsted or whatever I'm going to do. I am going to try and spin for a sweater, but I'm going to try and spin a DK or sport weight at some point. Maybe I'll start it later this summer. Or maybe during Tour de Fleece, which starts on Saturday, which is another thing I forgot to mention. We're not doing Tour de Fleece per se, but I am going to set up a thread for you to enter what you're spinning. It's going to be one post per person. Just let us know what you're spinning, what your goals are for Tour de Fleece. You don't have to post right away. You can post anytime during the month. It's no hurry. I am spinning the Cloud Lover. And hang on, I'm going to grab this over here. I only brought the bobbin down, but I had the extra fiber over there. So here's the Cloud Lover. This is what I'm spinning. I can't remember what colorway it is, or what fiber it is for that matter. I want to say it's Falkland, but who knows. Anyway, here is my first bobbin. I have finished spinning the first bobbin, and it is quite thin. My plan is to 3-ply it and make myself some hand-spun, hand-knit socks. It looks awfully small on the bobbin. I mean, you see how much space. I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn to make socks, but I'm going with it. If I do, I do. If I don't, I'll figure something else out. I have started the second third. This is the third. Actually, this is the second third because it says number 2. But this one was 38 grams, the other one was 37 grams, and this one was 37 grams. So I started the 37 grams first. I was thinking that I might split this one and do it 2-ply, but I'm thinking a 2-ply is going to be too thin. I don't know. Between now and the time I finish the second third, I'll decide if I'm going to make this, split it in half to be part of this one and part of that one. More than likely, I'm just going to continue it all as 3-ply, and this will get spun up on another bobbin. I do hope to start something else on the Ladybug. I started this on the Sidekick, and I'm going to keep it on the Sidekick. I might try and go back to spinning the Uniquely Yours purple and green bat with the sparkle on the e-spinner, but I haven't started that yet. We'll see how it goes. It's been crazy. So, but that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed checking out my progress on my projects this week. Next week, like I said, I will be recording on Thursday. I'm going to try and record as soon as I get home from work because I'd like to attend the Spinning Guild meeting in Royal Oak next Thursday evening. But I think that if I get home and record quickly, I should be able to do it. Maybe I'll get everything set up before I leave for work because right now it's 6:30 and I want to say that the Spinning Guild meeting starts at 6:30. So I would have to leave here by 6:15 or so. So I need to come home and get started right away versus putzing around and doing other things. So I will be recording next Thursday. Whether the episode will get posted Thursday night, I don't know. If it doesn't get posted Thursday night, then it's going to be Friday afternoon before it gets posted, because I have an 8-hour drive to the DC area. So, but next week, I think I'm one of the few podcasters that's not attending SSK. And actually, I feel like I'm missing out, but I'm actually glad that I didn't sign up, because this would have happened and I wouldn't have been able to go anyway, and then I would have been out all that money. So, things happen for a reason. I really do feel like that is true. Things just go the way they're supposed to go from the get-go, and you might not be happy about certain things in your life that happen, but I just feel like there's a reason for everything, and why dwell on hardships or disappointments in life, because maybe there's a reason. So I didn't even put my name in the lottery for it, but I didn't know that if I would be able to go anyway. But now I know that there was no way that I would have been able to go. But I wish everybody who is going to SSK next weekend the most fun. I know you guys are going to have a great time. I know that I have a wonderful time at Knittopia each year. So go and meet lots of new people. I know that Laura, Leslie, and Karen, it's 3 times as large as Knittopia, but they are 3 people. So I know you guys are going to have a great time and just enjoy it. You know, I look forward to hearing about it from all the podcasters that were there. And if you go and you're not a podcaster and you want to share your experience with me, I would love to hear it. So have fun and enjoy your retreat, because I know it's going to be awesome. So that's about all I have for you this week. And like I said, I will talk to you next Thursday. And yeah. So hopefully I can get lots of knitting done to show you by Thursday. So anyway, that's all for now. Bye.